So we get to the question of what does it mean to know the truth? What does it mean to tell the truth? And that gets very risky. Because to know the truth is first to sink through what's been denied as the truth. And to be willing to tell the truth is to risk losing everything. And when you've actually made a choice to be committed to the truth, then the truth is a ruthless master. That commitment will expose every aspect of hiding and the justification of that hiding, usually being protecting somebody. Not protecting yourself, of course. Oh, no, protecting somebody. Familiar? Well, if it's not, then it takes some deeper looking. Because as a human species, we are trained to lie. Lie is a major part of survival. And chimpanzees lie, and probably ants lie, and certainly gods lie. But as human beings who are actually committing to discover the truth that is not a dualistic truth, absolute and relative, but the complete truth, where absolute and relative are the same, then there must be a ruthless examination over where am I lying. So for many people, there's a recognition I'm lying. And it's okay, so I'll see where am I lying. Oh, I see where I'm lying. I don't like you. And that's the truth. And that's where it stops. But that's a very superficial truth. That one you can toss away and you don't even have to tell. It is so superficial. Because under that truth, I don't like you, there's a deeper truth that has much more to do with you than that person you don't like. The I don't like you, while you may be afraid to say that because of what could happen, really has nothing to do with you. It has to do with them, right? If you're willing to tell the deeper truth, you can actually get at what is it, the energy in this other person that's threatening to you, that triggers something in you, that reminds you of something, that keeps you lying in some way that you're protecting yourself. And in that, then, we get back to this space of what we're trying to avoid, which may be any number of things. Fear, worthlessness, unlovability, incompetence, fraudulence, whatever it is we're denying. We get back to that space, and it is that space itself that is the conduit for discovering the deepest truth. Because everyone feels worthless to some degree, except those who feel superior, and that's a worthless feeling. So you can count that as worthless. So, worthlessness. This worthlessness then is avoided by lying in any number of ways, making yourself look like you're worth something, acting like you're worth something, or learning to dramatize the worthlessness, or seek support and help in your worthlessness. But what's being avoided is actually experiencing worthlessness. Real worthlessness. Not worth anything. So that all the lies that have been told to yourself or to others are just uncovered. And you are left with this raw, ugly, unlovable, worthless thing. And that's where the deeper truth can be told. If you stop there, I am this raw, worthless, unlovable thing, then that's intolerable. So you begin lying on top of it, or you go to a class that will give you some good affirmations, or you'll go to a makeover group, or you'll get your colors done, or learn how to walk, and that's all fine. That's all just part of animal behavior too. But regarding telling the truth, until that seemingly essential worthlessness is met and experienced all the way, you cannot know the absolute truth of who you are. You may have glimpses of it in moments of grace or moments in nature or in meditation, so that reveal that. But that can't be alive, a living presence in you, until you are willing to tell the truth all the way down to where that simply exists as who you are. Not exist as something you've learned you are, or hope you are, or written out 100 times you are. I am worth something, I am God's child, I am worth love, I deserve. That works for a while. It's kind of a trance. You know, you can put yourself into trance. Trance is very useful. But when we're speaking about really realizing the truth of yourself, then what has to be faced is what you think the truth of yourself is. And what has to be faced before that is how you have lied to yourself to cover what you think the truth of yourself is. You follow that? So part of our conversation, well, all of our conversation really, is about telling the truth. Telling the truth about what you want. What do you really want? Well, you want freedom or you want enlightenment. Really? Really? Tell the truth. If you tell the deeper truth, it's really what will freedom and enlightenment give you. Oh, well, it will give me respect or lovability or fame or eternal happiness or power or relief from the suffering of the world. So that's what you actually want, deeper than you want enlightenment. And then we get to like, oh my God, that's what I want more than I want enlightenment. I want fame more than I want enlightenment. That's not a pretty truth. But it's a very necessary truth. And it's not the end. But then if you're willing to tell the truth about what is it fame will give you, then you get to actually what's underneath that. Well, everybody will love me. Or everybody will give me money. Or people will finally see who I am and give me what I want. And if you tell the truth about that, what will that give you? Then you can start to actually get too close to what is it the essential yearning really is. If you're lucky, if there is an essential yearning. Many people stop with fame, just as many people stop with, I don't like you, that's the truth, goodbye. But if you're willing to tell the truth all the way down to the depths, if you're willing to be shocked by what it is you really want, if you're willing to be laid bare by what it is your life is really about, where your attention really is in the name of enlightenment, or in the name of God, or in the name of peace, if you're willing to be humiliated and humbled by really what the mechanism is that's running here, then you have an opportunity to meet the abyss, the huge hole that all your life you have been running to avoid. The intimation that really you're worse than worthless. You're nothing at all. You are nothing at all. And everything about you as something has been a lie. Your identity, whatever it may be, based on your body, or your intellect, or your emotional depth, or your spiritual attainment, is a lie. When you get down to this abyss, you are nothing. And this is where, in the past, 99.9% have then fled back, up to the top. recognition and then back into the lie, because the lie is more comfortable. The lie has more hope, has more promise. But if you are sincere in your intention to really know the truth, whatever that might be, and if that knowing of the truth gives you nothing, no fame, no recognition, no happiness, no release, no universal love, just it gives you itself. If you want the truth that badly, then you're willing actually to fall into that abyss, to meet that abyss with your full attention, to meet the truth that you are nothing. And this is a great revelation. The extraordinary report that everyone who has met that abyss, including myself, brings back to tell you is that that abyss, that nothingness that you are, is awake consciousness in love, is freedom, is self-realization, is self-recognition. Everything you have been looking for in defining yourself as somebody and worth something and intending and going for and seeking is right here in the depth of your being, under all the lies, and has been here all along, and has been what has been fled from all along. This is the full circle. This is coming home. It's coming back to yourself, not going into a transcendent realm that you get to. It's returning back to what is always here and has always been here, but was fled from because of the definition of what nothing is. In our minds, nothing means non-existent. Absence, death. In our minds, when something becomes nothing, is vaporized, it no longer exists. And so if we are nothing, that means we don't exist, and that is horrifying. And so we would rather exist as something worthless that could perhaps someday develop some worth than to exist as nothingness, naturally. Our whole mechanism is designed to be something, somebody, who can get food and get shelter and pass the genes on. That's the nature of the animal. It's the nature of the species. It's the nature of flowers, the nature of trees, nature of the stars. So really the challenge is the invitation. And that's to just drop through all the lies, to see the lies, because you really can't drop through them until you see them. To see them and drop your consciousness through them, to feel the burn and the pain and the ache and the horror of the delusion, the lying, the cheating, the, my God, and oh my God, and worse than all of that, the nothingness. And there is the secret.
Ich würde so gerne mein Leben genießen und mich selber richtig doll lieb haben.
I would so much like to enjoy my life and really be fond of myself, really love myself.
You know the quickest way to get there?
Weißt du, wie du am schnellsten dahin kommst?
Ja, es tun, ne?
Ja, do it, huh?
No, the
Nein,
opposite.
das Gegenteil.
Experience how unlovable you are.
Erlebe, wie unliebenswert du bist.
Stop fighting it.
Hör auf, das zu bekämpfen.
Directly experience a self-hate
Erfahre direkt den Selbsthass,
without a story about it.
ohne eine Geschichte darüber.
Just open to it.
Öffne dich ihm einfach.
That's what everyone has been doing up here.
Das ist, was die alle hier oben gemacht haben.
Not fixing it,
Nicht das in Ordnung zu bringen,
not changing it,
das nicht zu verändern,
not healing it,
das nicht zu heilen,
opening.
sich zu öffnen.
What do you experience?
Was erlebst du?
Das erscheint mir absurd, mich selber ganz doll zu hassen.
It seems absurd to me to hate myself very much.
Well, it may be absurd, or that can just be a concept on top of the hate.
Mag sein, dass es absurd ist, oder es könnte sein, dass das nur ein Konzept ist, das über den Hass drüber gedeckt ist.
But if you are haunted by this self-hatred,
Aber wenn du wie von einem Spuk, von diesem Selbsthass verfolgt wirst,
then let us meet it here,
dann lass uns dem hier begegnen,
without changing it.
ohne es zu verändern.
Just opening.
Einfach dich zu öffnen.
Ich kann fühlen, dass du recht hast und ich habe gleichzeitig Angst davor.
I can feel that you're right and at the same time I'm afraid of it.
Yes, I understand. Yes, of
Ja, ich
course.
verstehe, ja, natürlich.
So first open to the fear.
Also öffne dich zuerst der Angst.
Just be afraid.
Hab einfach Angst.
It's all right.
Es ist in Ordnung.
And what's under the fear?
Und was ist unter der Angst?
Da liegt eine neue Angst,
There
eine
is
andere.
a new fear, a different one.
That's right.
Dass
das-
alles auseinanderbricht, alles, was ich je getan habe und alles, was ich je geglaubt habe.
That everything falls apart, all that I've ever done and all I've ever
That's
believed.
right. It's a fear of death.
Das stimmt.
Everything is lost.
Das ist die Angst vor dem Tod. Alles geht verloren.
So just in this moment, before the death,
Also einfach in diesem
lose
Moment,
everything.
vor dem Tod, verliere alles.
Just for the investigation.
Einfach nur für die Erforschung.
What are you experiencing?
Was erlebst du?
Also, es ist, als könnte ich nicht mehr denken.
It's like as if I couldn't think anymore.
That's right.
Das stimmt.
And when you are not thinking
Und wenn du nicht denkst,
who you are, what you are,
wer du bist, was du bist,
what's here, what's
was
the
ist hier,
experience?
was ist die Erfahrung?
Ich kann nur fühlen, wie was abfällt.
I can only feel something falling off.
Let it all fall.
Lass es alles fallen
See what's left.
und schau, was bleibt.
Ja, dann bin ich okay.
Then I'm okay.
That's right.
Das stimmt.
So clear.
So klar.
All the rest is a struggle.
All das andere ist ein dich abmühen,
To
ein
be
Ringen,
okay.
um in Ordnung zu sein,
To get okay.
um in Ordnung zu kommen.
To get them to see that you're okay.
Die dazu zu bringen, dass sie sehen, dass du okay bist.
Just stop and let it all fall off.
Hör einfach auf, halt an und lass es alles abfallen.
Als ich da unten gesessen habe und du hast diese Tipps gegeben, habe ich gedacht, das ist Quatsch.
When I was sitting down there and you were giving these tips, I thought that's all nonsense.
Aber jetzt, wo ich in deine Augen gucke, weiß ich, dass du recht hast.
But now that I'm looking into your eyes, I know that you're right.
I know it doesn't make sense to the mind,
Ich weiß, das macht für den Mind keinen Sinn.
especially the mind that is thinking how to protect myself
Besonders für den Mind, der denkt, wie kann ich mich schützen?
or how to change myself
Oder wie kann ich mich verändern?
or how to get myself better
Oder wie kann ich mich besser machen?
or more
Oder mehr?
or keep myself.
Oder mich behalten?
It doesn't make sense
Das macht keinen Sinn.
because to let it all fall off is to lose everything.
Denn es alles abfallen zu lassen, ist alles zu verlieren.
And so there is so much support in the mind to not do that.
Und da ist so viel Unterstützung im Mind, das nicht zu tun.
So you just take a second.
Also nimmst du dir einfach eine Sekunde.
As an adventurer.
Als ein Abenteuer.
And discover for yourself.
Und du entdeckst für dich selbst.
Lose everything.
Verlier alles.
And what's left?
Und was bleibt?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ja.
Yeah. There's more and more and more.
Da ist mehr und mehr und mehr.
More. You get more, then there's a bigger opportunity to lose more.
Wenn du mehr bekommst, dann ist da eine größere Gelegenheit, mehr zu verlieren.
That's the way it works.
So geht das.
Ich werde mehr versuchen zu genießen, wenn ich auf meine Trips gehe.
I'll try to enjoy more when I go on my trips.
Just keep your eyes open.
Behalt einfach die Augen auf.
Tell the truth.
Sag die Wahrheit.
Be still.
Sei still.
Ja.
And then you have nothing.
Und dann hast du nichts.
You are everything.
Du bist alles.
You need nothing.
Du brauchst nichts.
Dankeschön.
Bitteschön.
Being able to love myself even with this discovery of how enormous it appears that the self-loathing and that stuff can be.
So where's the self-loathing?
It's just an idea. I mean, it gets.
Is there an experience of it though? I mean, I know the idea evokes it.
From time to time, yeah.
Could you bring it here? Bring it to satsang?
Yeah.
Bring it to this meeting?
Oh yeah, I guess so. I guess it's
good.
Yeah.
It's welcome here.
Yes. Yeah.
It's important that it be welcomed in to satsang. Because then we can actually meet it in a way it's never been met.
Just to love all of it, no exceptions. There's no exception.
The people who came up here and spoke and were really willing to investigate and stop telling a story and just be still. Just immediately. It was actually easy. It was simple. Then there's this surprise or this laughter or this freedom. Instantaneous freedom. That's an essential experience. And maybe you've had it and forgotten it, or maybe you haven't had it, or maybe you've had it and remember it. Maybe it's very fresh. It's essential. Because until that moment, all talk of being true or being vigilant or telling the truth, it's all abstract. Abstractions, like something you would learn in class. It doesn't have concrete meaning in your life. It's It's a split second, and maybe it lasts for a split second, maybe it lasts for 5 months, 10 years, doesn't matter how long it lasts. There's a shift in consciousness. There's a shift in what was not known to be and what is immediately then seen to be. And this is, in itself, is the luck of a lifetime. It's the blessing of a lifetime. It's grace coming out from deep inside. Because grace is alive in each one. It gets covered with so many things. It comes out in that moment. That's the beginning. It may be the end. It can be the end. But with most ordinary human beings, that's the beginning. Because we are so addicted to the powers of mind that usually, right after that experience, there's a thought about something. How did I keep it? How do I keep it? Or couldn't be too simple? Or, well, that must not be it. Or, oh, I can never lose that. Or whatever the thought. There's a thought that arises, and that in itself is no problem. Thoughts arise. But then it's the thought that follows that thought. And the thought that follows the thought that follows the initial thought. And then all of a sudden there's this sense of, well, what happened? Well, did it happen? Was it real? Well, I'm lost again. And the searching begins again. The outward search. Or it can be, oh, I remember what happened. I faced my emotion. I went into my fear. I'll do that now and get it back. I'll get it again. It's the same going outward. Oh, now it's using the inward motion to go outward. It becomes an exercise or process. It becomes something to do to get what you are. And it maybe seems to work 6 times. And then that in itself is stale, because it's still based on a lie. You're still attempting to get what you are. You can't get what you are. Is that clear right there? You cannot get what you are. To get something, it has to be you and it. And you reach and you get it. How do you get what you are? Where are you going to reach? You can't understand it. How are you going to understand who you are? I mean, you can read, I am truth, I am consciousness. And that can feel good, you can vibrate with that. You can chant that, that feels good. You can pray for that, that feels good. You can read about great saints and sages, it feels good, and it's all helpful. There's nothing wrong with any of it. But finally, there has to be a willingness to be who you are. And for most people, that's absolutely terrifying. Because what most people suspect they are is the worst thing imaginable. A creature of imperfection and lack and ugliness and stupidity. Even if it's covered with the thought or experience of oneself as a creature with superior knowledge and fullness of being, under that is this suspicion or this fear of this gnarled, ugly, irredeemable, lost soul floating in space, separate from God. Right? You have to know that. Because all of the activity out is a way of escaping that. And when somebody says, just be yourself, there's an immediate translation of, oh, she means, do what I want to do. Or, hey, be who I really am. I'm not saying that. I'm saying be who you really are. And there is no effort involved in that. All the effort in your life internally is about escaping who you are and then searching for who you are, yearning for who you are and fearing who you are, running toward who you are and running away from who you are. All this activity of mind because of this deeply entrenched belief, which is then conditioned by most religions, East and West, that who you are is an ugly, gnarled thing that is separate from God and can actually never work hard enough or be good enough to be reunited. So this is the dilemma. The immediate experience is available. And in a moment of grace, whether that's in nature or with a loved one or in a meeting or in meditation or just in the bliss of being, this is available to everyone. And then the betrayal of that sets in very quickly because of the deep ocean of conditioning and distrust of who one really is, with the enormous cosmic yearning to discover who one really is. That these become conflicting forces. And the spiritual life then often becomes a life of torture, self-torture. This battle between ego and superego, or between the higher self and the lower self, or between me and I. And all of that is just an avoidance of really being who you are. I was speaking to someone today and she asked me, what is your teaching? And I said, you know, I could spend the whole time talking about that, but not because it's complicated or complex, but just because it's so simple. So anything I say, I have to then come in and undercut that, in case you think that's it. You understand? It's like the simplicity of who you are, the purity of who you are, the presence, not getting the presence, the living, being presence of who you are, of what consciousness is here, now, and always. We meet in this setting for these minutes so that our individual and group attention can be turned toward that, so that we can support one another in recognizing, yes, it's here, or in recognizing, oh my God, I'm afraid of it, or oh my God, it's not here. Just recognizing what's being said and recognizing what's underneath what's being said, and recognizing, finally, the limitless spaciousness that is consciousness, and the heart of that spaciousness, and the capacity of that heart to bear everything that appears in consciousness, including every idea and concept and feeling of who you think you are, every limitation, every hell realm, every heaven realm, every god, every demon, everything. The heart can bear it all. So the heart is a living expression of consciousness. So this thought, I didn't get it, or this is not enough. That's a thought. It may be pointing to something, that a sense of lack, or a sense of failure, or a sense of worthlessness, or who knows what it is. That's okay, that's good, because that's a doorway. But the thought will never take you anywhere except in a circle. I didn't get it, I did get it, I didn't get it, I did get it. This is right, this is wrong, this is right. So you just stop that and fall into what's under that. So if you stop thinking that you've missed something, or you haven't missed something, or you completed or haven't completed, what's alive inside in this moment?
That I should.
That's a thought.
Yeah.
That's a thought.
That's
so now what gives that thought its energy? There's something under a thought. Thoughts don't exist by themselves. They have some energy, especially recurring thoughts. There's some emotion. So what's the emotion under that I should? Could it be worthlessness? Not enoughness?
Not enoughness.
Not enoughness. So there's some lack there. Incomplete. That's very useful. That can be used for inquiry. This thought, I should, but I shouldn't, that can't be used for inquiry, because it's just chasing its own tail. But this lack, this not enough, that is perfect for inquiry. So you open to that, open your mind to that, leaving all those thoughts behind. Just really be not enough in this moment. And experience that.
But, yeah, I understand, but doesn't that come from?
Who knows? In the moment of experience, who knows where it comes from? That's what's left behind. See, that's still a discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know the answers, and you've experienced the answers. And that, in a way, makes it harder. That's why I was saying, stay new. That makes it more complicated, because you actually know home, and you know about separation, and you know the truth, but it's in the way. Your knowing the truth is in the way. Much better to not know anything. Then there's a freshness where you can actually meet this experience of not enough. That has nothing to do with separation or union or God or self or essence. It has nothing to do with anything. It's simply an experience. And consciousness examining that experience, falling into it, meeting that experience rather than observing it, actually going into it. Is it possible in this moment to really be not enough?
Let me have it, yes. I guess it's easy to fall into it, yes.
Yes, and so fall all the way into it and discover what's underneath it. So when you fall all the way into it, there's something under it that's revealed.
There is no name for it, but it's
But what is it? What does it feel like?
It's, of course, that one vanishes, that I'm not enough. It's
and
just
what's
it's
there?
not you. It's,
and what's there?
It's in a space.
Is it enough?
Well, the question doesn't come up then.
But let's bring the question up. Hey, we're free, no rules, right? Let's bring the question up. Is it enough?
Who?
That space that was under not enough.
It's perfect. The
really?
space is perfect. But
really?
This
then how can a but come into it?
There is no but. There is no but.
But you said but.
I'm not spoiling myself. I know it's...
Maybe you are.
No. Maybe. No rules, right. Once you fall into it, it doesn't exist that I'm not enough, because there is no...
So then fall into it over and over again. When it arises, what an opportunity. Rather than discussing it, or even knowing what the answer is, it's an opportunity to directly experience, freshly, newly, the truth that's under everything. And then not enough, or whatever it may be, fear, anger, despair, bliss, whatever it may be, everything then is a pointer,
Yes.
is a door, a trap door.
Right. And those are the aha moments, right?
Well, in that experience, was that a moment? Or was that reality?
I made it a moment, didn't I?
That's right. You made it the moment in your head, an aha moment, and now I'll take that one and put it up there on my shelf of aha moments. But you know where that leads you. That's why I say clear the shelf. As precious as these aha moments are, they become little miniature
right.
beautiful things.
Right.
So it's like, it's time to sweep them off. And that's scary. My aha moments, yes, all of them. Get rid of them. All of them. Because really the only worth, the pearl without price, the only true worth is what cannot be swept away. It doesn't have to be saved. It doesn't have to be remembered. It doesn't have to be figured out. What is always here. And what this offering is that direct inquiry reveals that. And in order to directly inquire, you have to stop thinking, whatever you're thinking. Even if you're thinking the truth, it's a lie relative to direct experience. So there's a ruthlessness there that strips you of your knowledge so that you are a beginner again. You don't know anything except it's not enough here. And there's a real beauty in that. There's a purity in that. I'm not enough. You don't know. There's no I, there's no it, there's no not enough. You don't know any of that. You know, I'm not enough. That's what I know. It's a relative truth. And that's the beginning. And in your willingness to experience that, to actually feel what it feels like, not to think about it, but to feel it, what it feels, not enough. Isn't that the human condition? I'm not enough. So it's profound, really. Most people spend their lives avoiding that feeling. So the willingness to actually feel it, and then to discover in that experience, with no story attached, what's the truth? What's under that? Maybe there's more not enoughness under that. Maybe there's despair under that. Maybe there's perfection under that. You can't know that beforehand. But you can approach it as a beginner for the first time. I'm not enough. And that's what I experienced when Papaji sent me out to teach. I can't do this. I'm not enough. And I realized, well, I don't have to be enough. I'm not doing it. This personality, this form, it isn't enough. You can't save the world. You may not be able to save yourself, even one person. You're not enough. It's the truth. This intimation, I'm not enough, it's true. You're not enough. And it's time to face the truth rather than hoping someday you'll be enough. So you give up the hope, you experience fully and completely not enough, and that's the truth, and the truth sets you free. Amen.
speaking exactly to me, the victim. I just want to walk out of here without that.
Yes, don't wait till you walk out. Because that's our habit, even subtly. But when I walk out of here, when I graduate from this weekend, but what is this me made of? When you inquire, when you actually look into yourself, find me, the Lindsay me. What's its substance? What's it composed of?
Just too many levels of negativity that seem stuck.
And those levels of negativity, if you get closer to them, just pick a level, any level, they're all the same. They just have different numbers. Just pick that a level and tell me, what's it composed of? What's its substance? What's its reality?
Mind. It's just thinking.
Thinking.
It's just,
so pick what. Give me one of those thoughts. An example. An habitual, negative, Lindsay, me level thought.
I'm not enough.
I'm not enough. That's right. So if you drop that thought, just for right now, just push it over to the side, or put it behind the curtain, and you're left just with the experience of not enough. And just, is it possible to open to that without the thought of it? To not fix it, not be enough, but to be not enough, fully and completely.
And that's okay.
It is.
And it's okay every time I do that with you on the videos. It's okay every time. I keep having to do it over and over again.
Just do it once, fully and completely. And then when that thought appears, I'm not enough, you know that the thought is just something that's keeping an avoidance of meeting, of meeting okayness, really. So that's the cycle of self-torture and self-hatred. Yeah. But when you meet this not enoughness, and you say it's okay, how okay is it?
It's okay. It's fine. It's nothing.
It's nothing. And what's under that?
Everything beautiful. Everything that's real, that I know.
So then, what an opportunity. Is this bad news to get to that?
No, it's...
Then isn't it great that I'm not enough appears, knocking at your door? And you say, no, go away. I'm not enough, I can't. And you say, oh no, come in, I'm not enough. So that you actually can experience this truth that not enough is the frog's face of. Yeah, I'm asking you if you'll kiss the frog when it shows up. Kiss your frog face when it shows up. Is that possible? It's not possible if you're complaining about not enough continuing to arise, because that's still the same story. You see that? It just is, the story just takes a little turn. Okay, yeah, I know if I meet not enough, then I find it's okay, and I actually find it's beautiful and it's fine. But I don't like that not enough keeps coming. And how many times a day does not enough have to come? Isn't that the same thing? Isn't that still? So what if it comes 100, 1,000 times a day? Choicelessly comes because of all the choices that were made in the past. That's what karma is. Yeah, so are you willing to meet the karma of your past choices? To discover the truth that's untouched by karma?
I would love that. I fear that I'll just stay in the not enough cycle.
Yeah, but you've done that.
Yes.
Yes. And so what keeps that in place? How is it you can stay in the not? We just saw when you're willing to meet not enough without the story, it's not there. So how is it you keep the cycle going? This is inquiry too. It's important to see what you are doing, what your action is.
It's monotony. It's monotony of daily life. It's
So it's a little drama.
I guess what this woman was talking about, entertainment and all the levels.
Yeah.
I want that high.
It's a torture movie to get you high, or?
No.
Not that bad, of course. Just I'm not enough. I'm not enough. Hit me again. Hit me again. Oh, I'm not enough. Well, you can continue that.
Oh, I know.
You can continue that. If you are willing to go all the way, then there's no problem. But if you're continuing that and you're complaining about that, which is what I'm hearing, you're tired of it, actually. You would like to get out of this movie.
Yes.
Yes, so to get out of the movie, you stop watching the movie. Turn your back on the movie, you unplug the movie. But you know, physiologically it may still be in there because movies like nightmares penetrate limbically and you can shake with it, but you aren't attuned to it. It's that simple. It just takes the resolve of your lifetime.
How do I resolve that?
By giving it your life, by saying yes.
And you said you can do it so many times that there's a block. How many times can I reach that point of truth?
You mean so many times of denying yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing, yours is a little different case here, so a little different diagnosis.
Okay.
It's some kind of beating yourself up.
Yeah.
Actually, probably originally in the hopes that if you punished yourself enough for not being enough, then God wouldn't punish you, or God would see you are enough, or that God would at least see that you see that you're not enough, and that you're doing the dirty work for God.
Yeah.
So you have to stop that job. You have to let God see you as you are. And if it's not enough, too bad for God.
Okay.
It's that kind of resolve. It's tough resolve. Rather than,
Yeah.
It's much more fun. It's scary, but it's really fun. You'll be surprised how tough you are. Do you know how tough you are? Yes, it's a secret, isn't it? It's time to let that secret out.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Thank you for everything.
You are so welcome. Be true to yourself. That's where the love is. And it's unbelievable because we think we could never be true to myself. I'm not enough. Yeah, be true to not enough in an instant. And enough, not enough is immeasurable. Enoughness.
Okay.
I'm happy you're here.
Me too.
So happy to meet you. I'm an ex-not enougher too. And in many ways, that's just intelligence, because you're not enough as one individual to really do much of anything, even feed yourself. But then we take that and we apply that into the truth of who we are rather than our limitation of form. And that's a mistake. And that's a tragic mistake. That's really a tragic mistake. And then it's very funny. You know, finally it's all about heart opening. That's finally what it's all about. But because that word or phrase is so corrupted, you know, definitely you know how corrupted that phrase is. By sentimentality of emotions or masochistic emotions, or strategies. Heart opening as a strategy. But really, when you just get down to the core of it, the core is the heart. Not excluding the physical or emotional heart, but not limited to that. The core. Finally, enlightenment at the core is heart opening. And heart opening reveals wisdom. And wisdom is mercy. It's impossible to be merciful to anyone else if your heart is closed to yourself. And that's the last one you want to be merciful for, because you know the horror that's in there. And you know the abuse that's been done in the corruption of all the spiritual terms, or all the catchphrases, all the lifestyle changes. So everything we've done in here, these games and everything, whatever name they are taking, really pointing, inviting, pulling you inside to meet what is not wanted to be met, which is ultimately self-hatred in some form. That's the ultimate defect. Whether it's catalyzed or crystallized by something physical or something emotional or something mental is really secondary. It is a raw self-hatred, a self-hatred for being separate from God, self-hatred for being a human being with human failures, self-hatred for not knowing, not being able to know, self-hatred for behavior. And that's what has to be met, because that's the unnecessary suffering, the unnecessary destruction, the unnecessary revenge, the unnecessary continuation of the horror of the human condition. There's a recognition that selfishness is present, and there's a hatred of that selfishness. And there's a war with that. And then a projection of that war onto whoever mirrors that most closely. So it always brings you back to exactly where you are sitting. Exactly what you are holding, both in delusions or in righteousness or justice or any of the traps that the mind is so exquisitely masterful at generating to avoid self-hatred. In the willingness to really, really experience that, not just the edge of it, but all the way into it, miraculously. And it must be unexpected, or you can't really experience the self-hatred. There is self-love. And self-love is capable of embracing anything and everything. Not even in the terms because it's its own self. That's true. But way before that's even realized and way after that's realized. Embracing anything and everything as a teacher of deeper pockets of self-hatred and deeper expanses of self-love and deeper recognition of what self means, what love means, what wisdom means, what mercy means, what it all means. So in spiritual communities in particular, there's a There's a bliss. It was a paradise. Spiritual communities are a kind of paradise. Not that it's all good news, as you know, if you live in one. But it's a realm of safety. And so really in this realm of safety that is Byron, that is this beautiful continent, this beautiful waters and forest and air, is a possibility to descend into what is not safe. Most people don't take that. They just want to be safe. Just want to feel the warm breezes on the skin. Just want to soak in the mana that's here. And that's fine. It's understandable. But if that's not enough, then there's a call to something deeper. That even paradise, on any realm, from any point of view of any religion, won't satisfy. And the way through that is through the horror of self-hatred into the absolute truth of self-love. That includes body, mind, emotions, but doesn't even start there, just includes that. It's the grace of truth. And it is available for everyone in this room. And everyone in this room always has a deeper possibility to discover it. And that's good news too. Because finally, it's not even about your discovery of it. It's about the discovery of it. And whatever yours or my or anybody else's in the past or present, future's discovery of it, that's a contribution to the discovery of it. That self-love is whole. Self-hate is fragmented and shattered. And no matter how much work you do to pull the pieces together, they won't fit. Someone was speaking about being in a plane that was just like falling apart. It's like, that's right, it won't fit. It is your great good luck that it won't fit. It was my great good luck that it won't fit. A lot of people with enough glue and string make it fit just to coast through life, you know, but that's not the way you've chosen, or you couldn't be here. And we've hated and cursed our self-hate, and we've tried to get rid of it and layered it and dressed it up, like you dress up, I was reading about dressing up these cane toads. The ones that get really big, people put little scarves on them and dress them up, but it's still a cane toad, you know. And if you squeeze it, it's poisonous. And if you kiss it, that's a different matter. So, in the ordinary, not born enlightened human being, there is a toad that's repulsive and poisonous and ugly that must be kissed to awaken from a dream. And it's a kiss that's endless, and the kiss may reveal more toadness. And that's feels like, looks like, seems like very bad news, and is, when met and kissed and embraced, news that's unbelievable. So endless, so inclusive. So I don't even like to use the word love. I mean, what a paltry word that is, love. L-O-V-E. I love that Bob Dylan song, Love is Just a Four-Letter Word. It's become just a pollution. But only pollution can be cleared by love. The pollutedness of our own souls, of our own lifetimes, of our own genetic strain, of the history of humankind can only be cured really, really by love. And that can only happen for you. So we have great examples like Christ or Buddha and all those in between. But it finally gets down to you. When Papaji sent me out and others out to speak to you, he was thrilled that we would speak in a Western language, that we wouldn't borrow the language that had grown up in the East, even though, of course, we do go back and forth, because that's part of all language now. It uses Satchitananda, satsang. But not to rely on that, to actually speak as brothers and sisters in the same boat, the earth boat, and to meet and discover in that what's here in each of us, regardless of anything else. And to kiss that, regardless of everything that says no. And to be embraced by what's waiting from that kiss into the deeper, always deeper, always closer, always, always unexpected. And it's time. It's your time. Your particular individual name has been called. Your given name, your sannyasa name, your guru name, your human name, your Christian name, your secret name, it's been called. And that is the supreme luck and the supreme challenge of a lifetime. Because it is a divine call of grace. And it is rough at times. And that just reveals deeper grace. I promise you that. I guarantee that.